Always.
What is happening right now?
Shut up.
Ty, sit down.
It's up here all the time.
I just need to die.
That was so close.
All right, Colton and Trey, you're already on thin ice because you showed up late. Do not interrupt me. All right, you need to use Plan B because it uses random assignment. Plan A, they give all the healthy plants a certain type of weed killer. You need to randomly assign them. That makes it a better experimental design. Today we're going to talk about how to infer conclusions from the experiments. And we're going to look at a couple other experimental designs. When I see you on Monday, it is a work day. If you need to retake your Chapter 3 test to fix your first quarter grade, be ready to do it on Monday. Okay? If you need to turn in homework from the first quarter so that you can get your grade higher, have that ready for me on Monday. Okay?
Do we get 2 work days?
No. Well,
Wait,
I mean,
how come pre-calc gets 2 work days?
because I have that first and second period, and yesterday I only saw first period, and today I only saw second period.
I think we should get 2 work days.
11:10. I mean, technically you do, because the day after the workday is review, which I do have a graphic organizer I'm going to do with you, and then you get time to work on the review assignment. So, and then your test is on Thursday of next week. Hey.
None of that today.
Thank you, Davis. Hey. All right. So last time we designed an experiment for the ACT prep class. We put kids into online format or a classroom teacher format. The results are in. The kids who took the online class got an average ACT score of 23.2. That was a bit harsh. Ashley said they cheated. Those who had the classroom teacher got an average ACT score of 21. Can we therefore conclude that the online ACT prep class caused better scores?
No.
How many of you say no? Anybody say yes? Oh, come on. One person's got to say yes.
Nope.
You
I'll
raised your
say
hand.
yes.
Thank you, Davis. It's maybe. So you're all right. You're all right. Maybe.
Hush.
How do I spell maybe wrong?
Fake classes.
I spelled gender wrong the other day, so. I forgot the D. Don't know what I was doing, Mason. All right, so we eventually, not yet, in a couple more units, we will learn about this definition more in depth. When we have an observed effect that is so large that it would rarely occur by chance, we can call the result statistically significant. We talked about a bunch of lurking variables like motivation, time, whether you had to work, significant. So there's all these other things that might affect why those who took the online prep class got the higher scores. We eventually we'll test our results to see if they're statistically significant. Meaning, if we were to do it again, would we get the results less than 5% of the time? Alpha equals 0.05. If the results happen less than 5% of the time, we can say a fish.
Yeah. That's a fish.
Yeah, it's like this. That's it, really enlarged. We just don't finish the tail. Okay? But if the results happen less than 5% of the time, we can say it was the treatment that caused the results. If it's to happen more than 5% of the time, we're going to say, it's probably not just the treatment. It could be something else that caused these results to happen. So, we're going to continue with that prep class idea. But we're going to change our experimental design a little. Can I move the paper up? Are you being mean, Davis?
No.
Always. Always.
I kind of actually believe that. As he gives you the meanest stare he could. Yeah. All right, so we're going to take our prep class.
Whoa!
Trey, shut up.
Oh!
I have to record now.
I'm recording for you.
I have to re-record.
So, just go on Canvas. We're about 7 minutes in. Okay? All right.
Like a joke.
That was great.
Bianca said something worse on one of my other recordings. Don't say it again. I'm recording.
No, and then her fourth period started, and then I went over there, and I was like, oh, yeah, when I told Caleb, and she was like, I'm recording. And I was
I still posted it to Canvas.
What she call Caleb?
She called me.
can you just post it in the style?
Sure. Bianca calling Caleb a name. All right. We're going to make a block design.
I didn't even do it.
We're going to say
Sit now. Stay, boy, stay. Trey, sit.
Colton Morgan.
Anyway,
I'm so happy you're here, but I want to continue with my lesson. Okay.
no. Boycott. Who said that? Whoa, that is.
So, the counselors hypothesized that the online and classroom results are greatly affected by the grade of students that were put into each treatment group. Juniors generally score better on the ACT than sophomores. So they think that the average ACT score for the online class was higher because there might have been more juniors in that class than the classroom teacher prep course. There was something we did in our experimental design last class that allows us to tell the counselors they're wrong. No. What do we do in all of our experimental designs? The most important step has to be random. So the fact that we do random assignment, remember under the 4 principles of experimental design, I told you random assignment takes your population and breaks it into roughly equivalent groups. So in theory, our random assignment put the juniors and sophomores in equivalent groups. So we do have an argument against that. What?
His name Trey?
Oh,
Miss Little?
yes.
I don't know. Sorry if I wasn't paying attention, but what does the fish mean?
Alpha. It's a Greek letter.
What is the fish?
It means that we want results to happen 5% of the time or less to call them statistically significant. All right, so we're going to say that the counselors won't let go of the idea that being a junior caused the higher ACT scores. So we're going to design a new experiment. We started with 50 students. We're still going to start with 50 students. Now, before we do our random assignment step, we're going to break them up into juniors and sophomores, excuse me. Now, just for the sake of nice numbers, I'm going to say we have 30 juniors. Bless you. And 20 sophomores. It does not specify in the problem how many juniors and sophomores, so I just chose pretty numbers. In your homework, it might specify an actual number of that are in each group, then work with those numbers.
Wait, it's not, we can just decide.
Just make the pretty numbers. I mean, obviously, they have to add to 50. And the reason why I say pretty numbers, I mean, I could have done 25 and 25, but then when I take my juniors and I break them into the two groups, I'd have an odd amount. So, I'm going to take my 30 juniors and randomly assign them into the two groups. Group 1, Group 2. Group 1 is going to get treatment 1. And anybody, I don't have my notes from the other day. Anybody remember, did we say online or classroom for that?
Online.
It was online? Okay, so we'll make it online still. And then group 2 gets treatment 2, which will be the classroom. And I'm going to abbreviate treatment 2 so I can write class next to it, because otherwise I'm not going to have space with my big handwriting. We're going to do the same thing with the sophomores. Oh, what I forgot to do, and this is what I was trying to say to you, Colton. 30 juniors into two groups. That means I have 15 in group 1 and 15 in group 2, which is why I did 30 and 20 instead of 25 and 25. And then we're going to do the same thing. So sophomores get randomly assigned. Group 1, which will have 10 sophomores, and group 2, which will have 10 sophomores also. Group 1 gets treatment 1. Group 2 gets treatment number 2. Then I'm going to compare junior scores to junior scores. And I'm going to compare sophomore scores to sophomore scores. So in that experimental design, when we took our population and broke them into the two groups, juniors and sophomores, that's called blocks. A block is a group of experimental units that are known before the experiment to be similar in some way that we think might affect the results. When we add this step of breaking them into blocks in our experimental design, that's called the block step. The block step goes before the random assignment. When the random assignment of experimental units to treatments is carried out separately within each block, we have a randomized block design. Last time, when we didn't break them up using juniors and sophomores, and we just went 50 students randomly assigned to group 1, group 2, what was the name of that design for an experiment? Anybody remember?
What'd you say?
Last time, we didn't do this step. We went straight to random assignment, group 1, group 2, treatment 1, treatment 2. What is the name of that experimental design?
Oh, it's the,
Can you give us a hint?
like,
It's 3 words.
What does it start with?
C,
placebo.
no.
Oh.
Single effect.
Wait.
It was a comparative randomized design.
Random assignment.
That was my next
Thank
one.
you. Good job, Colton.
What did you just say?
Yes. That's why I was being sarcastic with him, Ty. All right.
What, Ty?
When you use a randomized block design, we can make separate conclusions for each block, which is why I compared junior scores to junior scores and sophomore scores to sophomore scores. I can make separate conclusions based on the blocks. All right, now we're going to reach back way to the beginning of this unit. A block design is similar to a stratified random sample. In what way?
Random?
Yes, they're both random. What else? What do you mean layers? With a survey, we use a stratified random sample. That's where we take our population and put them into strata based on a characteristic that they have in common, like being freshmen, sophomores, juniors, or seniors. Yeah, but when it's a survey, we call them strata. When it's an experiment, we call them blocks. So don't get them confused. Strata, survey, experiment, blocks. So when selecting a sample for a survey, that's the stratified random sample.
Sample.
And then when we set up an experiment, we do a randomized block design.
Maybe because you eat fat every day.
Fatty. Yeah, facts. Fat.
I go to lunch with you.
So no, I don't. Whoa. Whoa.
Random.
That's hard.
So good.
May I flip my paper over?
Wait. Yes.
Thanks, Colton.
May I
Just
interrupt you?
don't be happy. Just don't ask. Just
I am happy.
Cool.
Sounds like
Cool.
wow. Maybe don't be happy.
That's fair, Trey.
No, be happy. Everyone deserves happiness except Ty.
Wow, that's mean. All right.
Shut up.
There is another type of experimental design. We're going to focus on the juniors only. Okay, we're still working with the prep class idea though. So the counselors are now worried that a student's GPA definitely affects the ACT scores and wants to make sure that the GPAs are evenly distributed into the 2 treatment groups. So, how could we make sure GPAs are evenly distributed? A lot of people talked at once. What did you say? How so? This kind of goes against the whole idea of random assignment because we're not gonna, we are, but we're not. So we're going to make a list of all the GPAs, the students by GPAs. We could go from lowest GPA to highest or highest to lowest. That part does not matter. Then I'm gonna, let's say we go highest to lowest. I'm gonna take the highest GPA, they go there, next highest here. And just alternate who goes into each group. And then maybe flip a coin to say this one gets online or this one gets class. That makes it random if I flip a coin to assign treatment. But I'm not randomly assigning them. I am purposely putting them in groups.
Were you talking to someone?
I was talking to everyone, but very specifically to Dia because she brought up a good point and I wanted to make sure she understood.
Yeah, good job.
Great job.
Yeah. Woo! I love
Yeah.
I love Dia too. Could you
Huh?
three be more like Dia?
No, because I'm my own
Ty
person.
said
No,
yeah.
'cause I'm
Thank
full.
you.
I'm not Dia.
Silly use.
She didn't say B.
I haven't.
I don't want to be like Dia.
I want to be like.
Why would you not want to be
I wanna
like Dia?
MJ.
I want to be like Mike.
I was black. Think about it. Just enough. Who?
You guys are such haters. How did anyone?
How does
on
your
soccer
teammate
team do good?
What about our teammate?
Yeah, he goes to your school. He's your fellow schoolmate.
I was just wondering because he
So it's like, who voted for him?
Who?
Sorry, what?
How did
No. No.
How did Terrell?
No.
What?
Stay there.
I'm not doing anything.
You know, it's a general question. How did Terrell King get 17?
All right.
Was it not good?
No.
I thought he got first.
No, I guess not. There you go.
Trinket and Dave got
Hey,
first.
hey, hey,
first though.
hey, Maggie.
Sorry.
Hey, that's a
When
How did
we
Ty
make
not get first?
He did.
Facts.
Answer
Oh.
my question.
That's
I
like,
definitely should have gotten first team, but
only one time.
Did you know the seniors won the Dash for Cash League?
all right.
Because we like that.
Guess what I'm gonna get you for Christmas?
Oh my gosh, she's gonna kill it.
Tape on your
Whoa.
mouth.
No.
Oh.
No, 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 get that.
Oh, so I could spray them.
Oh, so you can squirt
I
them.
like this. Okay.
Yeah.
No, get a splash.
All right.
No, don't.
No.
Don't.
So when we purposely put them in separate groups based on something like GPA, that's called a matched pairs design.
Match Harris?
Pairs, because we're pairing them up.
Oh, shut up.
Really, what we've done is we've created blocks of size 2. Hey, these two people have a 4.0 GPA. Let's put them into separate treatment groups and see what happens. Oh, these two have a 3.5 GPA. Let's put them
So it's
into
like the
separate.
same thing on both sides.
Yeah.
So just trying to make the groups as equal as possible.
More often, each.
Don't laugh at him.
I'm laughing. Yeah, I am. I'm laughing at you, Colton. More often, each pair in a matched pairs design consists of one experimental unit that receives 2 treatments. Now, I thought my example was old, and then third period told me Mr. Carrick just talked about this, so it made me happy. The Pepsi challenge.
Yeah, we're learning about Coke and Pepsi.
Okay, so Pepsi did this challenge a while back where they would take Pepsi and Coke and put them in unlabeled cups and ask one person to try both. That's this idea right here where one experimental unit, one person, gets both treatments. They try the Pepsi and they try the Coke.
It wasn't a good experiment.
So what's this called?
I didn't say it was a good experiment. I didn't say it was a good experiment. I said it was a good example of one
never said you said it was
subject
Trey?
getting two treatments.
You just saying you're just saying.
The biggest thing,
Bruh.
it,
It's like the fourth time. This stupid pencil.
the biggest thing, if you give one person two treatments, you need to randomize the order of the treatments.
Dude. Dude, what?
I broke.
Imagine being high with stars.
You're not?
No.
That's scary. Turning right.
Yes.
All right, I'm moving my paper up without you.
Shoot!
All right, scope of inference. We're going to talk about how we can generalize our results.
She's down.
Stop looking at her.
Colton,
Focus.
stop.
She just flipped me off.
I didn't see.
You flipped me off.
Screw you, David.
All right,
You.
first example. The U.S. Census Bureau carries out a monthly current population survey of about 60,000 households using Table D to select the individuals. They find that 12% of the sample are unemployed. What's the conclusion we can make?
That 12% of the individuals are unemployed.
Damn.
Why?
Because the
Yes.
U.S. sucks.
Or, at the moment, yeah.
What's the thing in there that allows us to use that result?
The survey.
Table D.
What is Table D?
Table D is the table of random digits, which means I've randomly selected these households,
Haha.
and that means I can generalize.
Table D.
So since I have random selection, I can take the results and infer that 12% of U.S. households are unemployed.
What if you tested more houses though? That's the
Bless you. Did you sneeze or cough? Did you sneeze or cough? Bless you.
Bless you, Will.
Oh, gracias.
I almost misspelled house.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Does B/C stand for?
You're so passive
That
aggressive.
hurt, David.
What are you saying?
He called me stupid.
Wow.
Davis,
Shots fired.
Davis, I don't like your freaking attitude.
Colton,
Shut up.
seriously.
Maybe we just all need like a therapy session. Just like
No,
class.
no, not everybody in
No,
this
maybe we
class
just need to
needs
watch a
therapy.
movie.
Let's bring
Yeah, let's get Bells in here. See if we can guess why. Davis
Nobody
has so
can
much
fix
trauma.
you.
I'm not
Seriously.
talking about it. Shut up, Rick. I hate you. Work out.
All right.
Bro, can we go to the gym after class?
Second situation. Scientists performed an experiment that randomly assigned 21,000 volunteer subjects to one of two treatments: sleep deprivation for one night or unrestricted sleep. 2 days later, the unrestricted sleep group scored significantly higher on a performance test than the sleep deprived group. What's the conclusion we can make?
I was yawning and thinking about.
Randomly assigned, that's important.
Randomly assigned.
What does that mean?
That means they're chosen at random. Random people.
Doesn't matter. Really, because even though they volunteered, we randomly assigned to treatment.
Can you come watch our volleyball game?
Not right now.
So that's an experiment. Well, it's not right now.
December 12th.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'll think about it. If you guys can actually, behave in class, sure, I'll go support you.
Oh my god.
All right, because we have random assignment, we can infer that unrestricted sleep causes the higher performance on the test.
No way, not again. Just locked in. It's little. Go lock the door.
I'm okay right now.
Whoa! I see.
Oh my goodness.
I see. Little, I don't feel safe. You just want us to die. That's something to see. What did you just say? You're singing the wrong words.
No, I'm not.
You gotta remind me.
Someone with Apple Music.
It's still sweet. I know.
Yell at them. Yell at them.
She loves SpongeBob.
That's SpongeBob with Patrick.
What?
Does make sense. That was valid.
Maybe Mr. Krabs.
No, you're
Dumb and that's dumber.
Dumb dumber. Oh my gosh.
Do your parents literally avoid you like as much as they can?
Yes.
Yes, you do. I know you have parents, but seriously.
I was going to say something so messed up.
I see through all that.
Gosh. Did you write this down? Because I'm going to flip in a minute, and I'm not going to care if you don't have it down if you're looking that way.
It's a good one.
All right.
I get yelled at for that.
What? Not having parents?
Yes.
Nobody yelled at you for not having parents.
Oh. What you get yelled at for?
I don't know what you got yelled at for. I ain't
He's just
yelled.
making things up now.
All right. So, if the individuals are randomly selected, we can make an inference about the population, like we did up here with number 1.
Yeah. Something. I'm gonna just open it.
If individuals were randomly assigned to treatment groups, we can make an inference about cause and effect,
No, because it's cold.
like we did with situation number 2.
Oh, I didn't write that down.
No matter what, when you're discussing your scope of inference, make sure you put it into context. So notice when we wrote our conclusions, we said we can infer 12% of U.S. households are unemployed. I went back to the context of the survey. When we put our conclusion for situation number 2, we said we can infer unrestricted sleep causes higher scores. I went back to the context. Trey.
Oh, no.
All right, we're gonna do the exit task together.
Ah, brother. Ooh.
Can I flip?
Get some creamy peanut butter.
I do have some creamy peanut butter.
You have some butter? No?
No, I ran out of berries at home. All right, Colton, Will you read for me since you want to talk so much today?
That's what I'm saying.
You read better than him.
To me? That's just not
I
true.
said him. I didn't say you.
That's just not true.
I'll wait.
Colton, read.
Does talking on a hands-free cell phone distract drivers? I'll wait.
Hey, Brooke, Maggie, listen.
Class.
Yes, yes, yes.
Does talking on a hands-free cell phone distract drivers? Okay.
Seriously, be quiet. You two, and you two.
Why?
He's reading for me.
Oh, I thought he was just talking. Sorry.
What?
Go ahead.
This recording.
Does talking on a hands-free cell phone distract drivers? Researchers recruit 40 student subjects for an experiment to investigate this question. They have a driving simulator equipped with hands-free phone for use in the study. A. Researchers are considering the design shown in the figure below. What type of design is it?
Is that a comparative randomized design, a randomized block design, or a matched pairs design?
Matched pairs.
Did I match anybody up with anybody else?
The other
No.
one. The other one.
Did I block them by anything?
No.
The other one.
So it's the first one, comparative randomized design.
CPD. CPR.
There's no P in there.
CRD.
Comparative, I'm assuming.
This will.
All right. So now we want to block the drivers. What is a category that we would want to block drivers on to see if hands-free cell phones make a difference? Gender. This is where I misspelled gender, Mason. Gender, I think, is really important because it says student subjects, so I'm guessing high school students or college students if they can drive. And young men have a much higher insurance for driving. The cost to cover them is higher because research shows you are more likely to get in an accident than young ladies. So I think gender.
Have you seen her?
She's the exception to the rule.
Representative of the
They're all
female
out there.
driving population.
No, you're
I am not. Maggie's a great
You are
driver.
not a good driver.
I'm dude. What do you mean?
You know who's the worst driver?
No.
Girl driver? Margaret Hamlin.
True.
She almost killed me
She
5 times.
killed me too.
Her car's almost fine, but she is a horrible driver. Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
I ran into a fence. I'm probably
how?
a really good driver.
How do you
I give you a race.
I did not drive your
Okay.
butt, by the way.
maybe ask insurance companies to do some more recent research to see if it's changed? Or maybe us blocking on gender is a good way to see if it's still
No,
true.
it's.
What's-
safer traffic than like getting in bad accidents?
What might be another thing that might affect people's ability to drive that we might want to block on?
If they have legs.
No arms.
Oh my.
Eyesight. Yeah.
Eyesight. Thank you, ladies.
That's a disability. Wait, what did you say? What was it? Eyesight. No, what was
I'm
it?
just asking for other categories you might want to block on.
Slower reflexes.
Age?
What about
I
height?
would kind of agree with age,
Are they
but
teenagers?
right. So, how many of you got your license at 16? How many of you got it at 17? How many of you got it when you were 18?
I'm not 18.
How many of you don't have your license yet? Let's be honest.
Be honest.
Be honest.
Okay.
Be honest.
Naomi, she doesn't have her license yet. I'm going to use your age idea, Maggie, and say, how about not necessarily age, but years experience driving? Because who got their license at 16? Who got their license at 18?
Who's
I don't think anybody's 18.
17, sorry. So Amber is going to be 18 tomorrow. She's had 1 year, and Maggie, you're going to be 18 when?
Oh, in September.
Oh, so you are 18?
No.
Oh, you're a
I'm
youngin'.
17.
Okay.
Wow.
So
Damn.
they got
You're
their
young,
license at different ages, but they have about the same amount of experience driving. So instead of saying age, let's say years of experience.
Sounds good.
It's my view. Right now.
Any other things that you think might affect driving? Amber?
Whether they just driver's ed or not.
Ooh, that's a good one. Driver's ed.
The type of car they drive.
Yeah, because some
Type
have
of car
like,
they drive.
Technology.
Well,
Older
we're-
cars don't have like.
Teslas, like self-driving cars.
it's a simulator.
Oh, sport ones.
Remember he said simulator?
It's your
Driver's ed.
Dude, what?
All right.
Disabilities.
Question C. Why is it important to randomly assign the treatments within each block?
so everything randomized.
What did I say back here?
You can generalize.
I could generalize it, but why else?
Similar.
Groups should be roughly similar.
Create groups that are roughly similar to reduce confounding.
I like that laugh.
Okay, so many people have done that to me. It's not right.
It actually is kind of fun.
No, I think it's pretty funny too. I thought it was kind of hilarious.
Now I just don't want to laugh anymore.
Yeah, I like that laugh.
Don't let them ruin your day, Maggie.
Yeah.
Not even me.
I'm not gonna write you a love song.
Please stop. Hurts my ears.
Confounding.
Yeah.
Confounding.
At the next assembly.
Heck,
That's Margie Parker.
give us a preview.
You should.
Are there
No.
any questions?